September 25th, 1997. Vassula speaks. I invoke you, my Yahweh, my Father, for I know that when I do, your majesty would come in splendour all the way from heaven, descending in glory in my quarters. To see you, my God, in this inaccessible glory of your divine and infinite light is an incomprehensible splendour. You are the Godhead manifesting yourself to me and wanting to be united with me, desiring to be known. Only you, and you alone, can reach me, for the gap, this ontological abyss between you and me, can be no more there. Lord, you fill all things without being contained, neither by their limits nor by their very being. Vassula writes, while I was still invoking Yahweh's name, suddenly a figure of wonder, looking just like the Son of Man, in his glorious transfiguration, appeared to me. The formless one took form. What mind is able to grasp or understand the one who encompasses all beings? Although the vision lacked completeness, the footnote reads, it was like seeing through a grey veil. He made himself be recognised, and I am conscious about it. The unseen God allowed himself to be seen, to speak and listen as a friend to a friend, invisible, yet face to face. Yahweh, the Lord of Lords, appeared to me, vested in full splendour, his heavenly robe shimmering and yet colourless, glittering as though covered by diamonds and other precious stones. And while I was staring bewildered and mystified on this enchanting vision of grace and incomparable beauty, when Yahweh delicately emerged from behind the clouds, doing it with such a graceful movement, I felt my heart blossoming. His majesty reminded me of a bridegroom stepping out of a pavilion. His presence radiated a gracefulness that even if I tried to describe it all my life, I would never manage. His presence, at the same time, radiated love, and so much sweetness and tenderness that my soul was swept to the ground. His beautiful head was leaning slightly to the right, like those Sacred Heart statues. You are beautiful, my God. Although I can only peer through a veil, I see your hair in dark locks, reaching your shoulders, and your beautiful face, the pallor of ivory, is enchanting to the eye. Yahweh's posture was though of someone timid, but do not mistake me. It was not timidity, but a form of grace and majesty. O Yahweh, you who transcend greatness and fullness, you who are the Godhead, assumed a form in an inconceivable manner to show yourself to the unworthy one. Indeed, how can language express in words the things that no eye has seen and no ear has heard, the things beyond the mind of man? O come and breathe over my garden. The footnote reads, it means send your Holy Spirit to me, and spread your sweetness in my heart. Why, who am I to be able to contemplate your figure? How is it possible that you, in such glory and such splendour, be attracted to our misery? You dazzled me, and I am bemused with your lordly beauty. What must it be like to contemplate you all day long in heaven with our bare eyes? How and where shall I find sufficient words to describe your grace and your beauty? Words surpass me, especially that slight movement you made to step out from behind the clouds. Should I invent new words of praise to praise your ineffable beauty? Human words of praise are nothing and will never be sufficient ever to express what I want to express. In your pure beauty, you hold me captive. In your charm, you leave me bemused and in rapture, and like spring, you flower my heart with a single one of your glances, and my soul feels wedded to my Creator. My Creator who freed me with one single of his glances, and set me free and at large to proclaim his wedding song. You guard me, and while I am going, you spread sapphires on my path, and like the pupil of your eye, you guard my soul. I go through fire, and when I come out of it, I am unharmed. And when torrents of insults pour on me like slime from the evil one, your right hand upholds me with words sweeter than honey, and more intoxicating than wine, while you cover my head with your blessings, adorning me like a queen. And when my oppressors joyfully breathe hostility and calumny all around me, your majesty, like a flash of lightning, sends me a cherub who lifts my soul to mount him and soar on the wings of the wind. Then, in your peace and in your smiles, I gaze from above on those who keep hailing my death, but who can never reach me, while they tremble in fury and rage. No, not one enemy will ever be able to outwit my God, why he himself shall crush my oppressors. And now I stretch out my hands to you. Let everyone get to know that goodness and kindness is our God thrice holy. The Lord speaks. I am in your midst. Know, my little Vassula, that the poor will receive more from wisdom than the rich, who glory in their glory, which is no glory at all. I have anointed you with my oil. The footnote reads, oil here stands symbolically for name. So that in this baptismal oil I can obtain victories from you, for my glory, but also for your own sanctification. Vassula says, in your sweetness, let me obtain mercy from you. The Lord speaks. I, the King of glory, and your bridegroom as well, will satisfy the poor, and you will obtain mercy and the same sweetness I have given to my Son. Come, and hear sovereignty whisper in your ear. Come, and write down my words and treasure them. I am the guardian of your soul, and from my lips you will hear no flattery, but righteousness. Come and lean your head on my heart, so that in that closeness you can obtain the revelation coming from the furnace. The footnote reads, God means his heart. Coming from the furnace of love. And when you will hear me, choice of my Son, your soul will not resist to pursue the path of righteousness and goodness. Then you will find your joy in the end of this path. Have you not heard, delightful child, that I, Yahweh your Creator, am wedded to my creation, and am everyone's spouse? The footnote reads Isaiah 54 verse 5. Day and night you stumble along creation, chasing the shadows, and not even once have you tried to penetrate into this mystery. If so many of you are perishing, it is because hordes of you have rejected my knowledge. You have forgotten my teachings. I looked at my seeds and asked myself, what am I to do with them? They are entrenched in their deceitfulness. How am I to make this lot who cannot tell their right hand from their left understand that I am their bridegroom, and all I want from them is love, not sacrifice? Knowledge of my heart is not holocausts nor solemn festivals. O royal household of mine, you have bartered your glory for shame. Have you not heard that I can lower the heavens to come down to you? Have I not lifted up my voice enough for your ear, creation? For how long are you going to chase the wind? For how long am I to see you pursuing shadows? Come to me. My heart is like a lamp to your feet, and from my lips, moistened with grace, and with dew of divinity on them, flow rivers of grace and boundless calls of mercy. Day and night, my loved ones, you stumble along the shadows. Come to me, and I will touch your heart, so that your perversity melts away. Then, in the immensity of my love I have for you, I will fall like dew upon you, and my divinity will overwhelm your misery, encompassing it to dwell permanently in my brightness, making out of you a vessel of light, and one spirit with mine. Ah, Vassula. The footnote reads, Suddenly his divine gaze turned and looked at me. You whom I blessed with the unction of my name. Jealousy inflames my heart every time your heart acts like Dame Folly and flutters away from mine, pursuing frills and not my divine power. I tell you, my loved one, keep your bridegroom's principles and bind them to your heart. These will warm your heart and will avert you from becoming distracted from the presence of your bridegroom, who is only waiting to be gracious to you. Ever so loved by me. And if I have asked you to disclose my wedding song, the footnote reads, True Life in God, by writing, it was because of my zealous love I have for each soul, and because I wanted that my loved ones have enough nourishment while they are crossing this desert. I have entrusted you with one talent to procure for us, the footnote reads the Holy Trinity, the equivalent amount. You have done well, because you have shown to us in your ardour to please us your faithfulness. So now, have your retreat in us. Have your retreat in my heart, and taste, like in former times, the intimate delights of my heart. May the essence of my love flow like a river into your heart, so that all your tiny infidelities by which they raised my eyebrow be washed away. Behold now, I am imprinting my words on you, for the salvation of so many sinners. I have come to you with gentleness, my bride, for the renewal of the mystical body of my Son. Behold now, I, your Creator, am calling you, for I have espoused you to myself, so that in our union I would have the pleasure to adorn you with faithfulness and with ardour. Yes, on this fragile clay I have imprinted my name all over you, since that day when your soul called out to me, Abba. And from there on I have straightened your path on earth, and have taught you how to delight in me, by being ever at play in my presence. Know, my Vassula, how I desired that you love me with all your heart, and how I longed to turn your whole life into a permanent longing and thirsting for me, your God. I wanted to show you my kingdom and my nuptial chamber, where, in privacy, we could delight one another. I, your bridegroom, aflame with love, would converse intimately with you, teaching you the knowledge of holy things. And you, cleaving yourself firmly to my heart, would be aspiring grace from the breath of omnipotence, so that you would not cease to be. No, my chosen one, our intimate union is not like the memory of a one-day guest. I will not cause you to trouble your heart by withdrawing my intimate union from you. I will take care of your frailty, my Vassula. See, my beloved one, how I desire to draw you to me, as a lover who draws his loved one in privacy. I, who am the lover of mankind, spouse of my creation, wish to draw you now to me. Take a retreat in me. The footnote reads, This he said it as an invitation, but with great solemnity. Why, must you have heard sometimes how the bridegroom longs to be alone with his bride after the wedding? I am offering you this favour as a prelude to our feast. The footnote reads, When I was writing these words, it was November 21st, 1997. November 28th, 1997 is the 12th anniversary of True Life in God. The Lord continues, Yes, on that day when you responded to my divine will, and by opening your heart to my call, I enriched it from mine, so that later on you would gain everywhere those treasures. Those treasures are seeds. The footnote reads, When God pronounced the word seeds, I saw in front of me sapphires. The Lord continues, Those treasures are seeds you are obtaining from me, whereby you were to sow them in the countries I would be sending you. That day, when you submitted to my divine will, allowing me to govern your life, I stood affectionately in front of you, inviting you with these words. It is impossible for a soul to love me the way that I want her to love me, were she to keep her distance from me. Approach me and taste my delights. I wish you to become intimate with me. If you remain far from my embrace, you will be unable to get to know me. The footnote reads, That is the whole secret of knowing God, intimate union. The Lord continues, I have in our intimate union and the unction of my love adorned you with knowledge of how to find me and get to know me.